So, welcome to our first Yin Yoga session. Yin Yoga is all about taking time to find a shape, to find an edge of the shape, to find a stretch in that shape, and then hold and be still and quiet for a period of time. So, we're going to start by being seated. And if you're comfortable being cross-legged, then I would ask you to cross your legs. If you want to grab a blanket or a cushion or something to perch on, to sit on, just to lift your hips up off the floor. We are going to be here for about 5 minutes in this pose. So sometimes perching on something just helps you tilt the pelvis forwards a little bit, and it just brings some more comfort into the back. So we're going to come to a seated position to begin. And finding comfort in that space. And if you want to put cushions or blocks or anything underneath just to give the body a bit more support in this shape, then you're very welcome to. I'm going to bring a length to the spine, and let's place hands on the knees. And then if you're comfortable to bring a close to the eyes, just close the eyes down. And let's just find some stillness here as we arrive into our class, into this time. We've got an hour that we've dedicated to ourselves. Just feeling the shoulders dropping away from the ears. Feeling the crown of the head lifting up, floating up towards the ceiling. Feeling the arms relaxing down. And then just take your focus to your breath, breathing in and out through the nose. You don't need to change the pattern of the breath. Just slowly watching the inhale and the exhale. Our lives can be very busy from day to day, so this is the perfect balance. And we can find it very hard sometimes to be still and focus and just notice our thoughts. But we've dedicated the next hour to do exactly that. Being still, listening to the body, noticing the thoughts. So I'm just going to leave you for the next minute in silence so that you can really arrive into this space. Let's now slowly open the eyes. And we're going to just bring the left hand up and place it on the right side of the head. And just come into a gentle neck stretch. Now we want to move the neck and head over just until it naturally stops. And then we're going to hold it here. You're welcome to bring a close back into the eyes. When the body naturally stops when you're stretching, that's what we call the edge. And then you just stay at the edge and we find stillness here. And it might be that slowly the muscles release and the edge changes as that stretch deepens. And maybe the left ear can come a bit further towards the left shoulder, but we don't force it. We just allow it to release in its own time. One more moment here. And very gently releasing the left hand and bringing the neck back up. And then maybe just doing some gentle circles with the head. Go one way and then circling around the other. And then let's come back to stillness. And let's float the right hand up and onto the left side of the head. Let's bring the left hand down towards the floor if that's comfortable. We're going to bring that right ear towards the right shoulder. And again, if you would like to bring it close to the eyes. And wherever the head naturally stops in that movement and you begin to feel the stretch, that's where we pause. So we don't have to overstretch. We find the stretch, we pause here. And just gently allowing the muscles to lengthen. A few more moments. Checking in that you're still gently breathing in and out through the nose. One more moment. And then let's gently release the right hand and allow the head to come back to a central position. And let's take some gentle circles into the neck, going one way. And then let's take those circles in the opposite direction. And then we're going to come into our first posture, which is butterfly posture. So you might want to just stretch your legs out for a moment and maybe give them a little break here because they've been folded for quite a few minutes now. So let's give the knees a bit of a stretch and maybe the legs and ankles a little bit of a circle. just before we come into butterfly. So again, you're welcome to sit on something, or maybe you're more comfortable with your hips on the floor. Butterfly is us bringing the soles of our feet together. Actually, we say soles of feet, but our feet probably open up, and it's probably more like the outer edges and the little toes that are together. And we're going to be here for 5 minutes. So you definitely want to find a supported, comfortable position in this pose. So if it feels really, really intense, you can bring your feet further away from the body. Or maybe with cushions or yoga block, you might want to support the knees. If you don't like the feel of the knees and the legs kind of hanging in the air, you might want to put some support underneath. So just take some time to find a comfortable position for you. And then we're going to gently bring the body forwards. Now, normally we try to keep a length to the spine, but in Yin Yoga, we're going to come forwards with a length to the spine first, but then we're going to round over. And we're going to find that edge again. So we want to round over, and when the body naturally stops, that's where you're going to stop. So you're not going to pull yourself beyond that space or push your knees down beyond that space. You round and then you hold here. So if you don't like the feeling of your head hanging in mid-air, then it might be that you can put a blanket in between your tummy and your feet and bring your forehead down onto your blanket if you're uncomfortable having your head just floating in mid-air. So finding a supported place. And we pause here for 5 minutes. So you should be feeling tension, maybe bringing a close to the eyes. This helps bring the awareness inwards. And you should feel tension, but there should be no pain. So if there's a sharp pain or a tingling sensation or any kind of stabbing feeling, then you need to come back and just change the shape for your body. Maybe bringing the feet away from the hips, maybe popping some support underneath the knees, maybe sitting on something. And once we've found that place, our aim is to be still and to hold the pose. And just noticing the sensation of gravity. Gently breathing in and out. And this stillness is the magical ingredient of Yin Yoga. It's really nourishing to the joint. Opening the hips. Opening those energy channels. So for the next 2 minutes, I'm going to leave you in silence. And your aim is to stay as still as you can, if the body allows. And just noticing the thoughts that come into the mind. Maybe bringing the awareness to the breath. And being still and quiet. Super slowly. Bring the upper body back up. Opening the eyes. We're going to bring the legs in, but we've done some really intense stretching here. So use your hands just to gently bring the knees in together, landing the soles of the feet into the mat. Maybe taking the hands behind. Just going to windscreen wipe the legs. Just going really gently from side to side here. And we're looking for that internal rotation. So that top leg as it comes across is rotating inwards. So just rebound from that butterfly pose. And just do a couple more windscreens here before we come into our next pose, which is going to be our straddle pose. So let's bring the upper body back up. And this time we're going to bring our legs outwards. And remember again, we're going to be here for 4 minutes in this one. So coming to your measure with how wide you want those legs to be. And then let's just take a moment, just pausing here and let the legs kind of relax in to this position. And again, if you want to sit on something, if you want to raise the hips from the floor and pop yourself onto a cushion, then you're very welcome to do that. And if the knees feel a little uncomfortable, you might want to pop a cushion underneath the knees just to bring a bit more of a bend. That might feel a nice supported position to be in, or maybe pop in a block underneath. So again, taking some time here just to find a position and using the props that are comfortable for you. We're going to come forwards in a moment, but before we do, we're just going to kind of give the legs a little bit of a rub and maybe those muscles a bit of a squeeze, because what we want is for the muscles to really relax in these different poses and postures. So we're going to come forwards. So we're going to pop our hands in front and bring the body forwards. And again, we are going to, when we've come as forwards as far as we can with a length to the spine, then we're going to round over. If you don't like the feeling of your head being hanging in the air, then it might be that you want to kind of bring yourself maybe a little pile of blankets or cushions here. And it might be that you want to come forwards and maybe even, put your, you can relax forwards and rest your chin on your hands. Maybe you relax forwards and your head comes down to your prop, or maybe you're comfortable with your head hanging in the air and just gravity slowly relaxing you down. So go into your measure and remember that we want to come forwards until the body just naturally stops, because that's the edge and that's where we're going to hold. So finding that comfortable place of tension but no pain. And these poses are designed for our fascia to release. So all of our muscles are kind of in this bag that looks like webbing. I suppose they're surrounded by a web which runs all the way through our body, and sometimes if the fascia gets really tight in one place, then you can feel it somewhere else. And we have to do lots of poses to stretch the muscles. So on Monday night in our hatha classes, we do lots of muscle stretching. But when we relax the muscles like this, and we just give those joints time to come into that edge and then hold it, it releases any tension in the deeper tissues, in the fascia, and just creates a release through the body. Taking this time to open up those joints, release the fascia. And I'm going to leave you for 2 more minutes here, quietly, maybe bringing it close to the eyes, finding your edge and being still and quiet. We're in our last few moments here. And really, really gently bringing the upper body back up to a seated position. Any props that you've used, Let's move them to one side. And then again, because we've been in that really intense stretched position, we're going to bend the knees, using the hands to help, and slowly bring the feet back in together and knees together, hands behind. And again, we're just going to go into those windscreen wipers and really think about that top leg internally rotating after we've done that external rotation of the legs. Maybe even coming over to one side and holding it here for a moment. And let's come over to the other side and hold it here. And gently bringing ourselves up. We're staying seated. We're going to bring our legs out in front this time. So we're going to come into caterpillar pose now, which is forward folding over our straight legs. So again, any props that you need here, maybe you're sitting on something, lifting the hips up off the floor. Maybe you want cushion under your knees, just to support the knees a little bit. We're going to be here for 5 minutes, so finding that those supports that feel good is really important. And again, if you're happy coming down and just having your head and your upper body hanging, then you're welcome to come down without any prop in between. But maybe you want to have a blanket so that your upper body is supported on a blanket. Maybe you want to just wrap your arms around the blanket and come down. We're aiming to feel a stretch through the backs of the legs. We're going to release all the tissues through the backs of the legs, and that stretch will continue up into the spine. So we're going to be here for 5 minutes. So finding support and comfort in your caterpillar pose. And Yin Yoga is all about the sensation that you feel more than the shape that you make. And we're all different. So your shape might look quite different. But we're aiming to get a lovely stretch through the back chain of the body. So we come forwards until our body naturally stops. And that's where we're going to hold. If you feel comfortable to bring it close to the eyes, you can bring it close to the eyes. And then take your focus to your breath. And on each exhale, just try to relax down a bit more. Exhaling and considering the muscles in the legs. Are you holding on to tension? Can you soften the knees more? Bring a softness to the spine, a softness to the tummy. Making sure that you can still breathe easily. Resting down. I'm going to leave you quietly for the next 2 minutes. And again, your aim is to be as still as you can. If you start feeling pain, then always back out. But notice, just noticing the stretch, noticing the sensations, and trying to be still and hold for 2 more minutes. We've just got one more moment here. And very gently and slowly bringing yourself back up to seated and removing any props that you have. It's useful to have your props at the head of your mat rather than by your feet, because you might need those in a moment. And we're going to just shuffle forwards a touch and come down to a lying position. We're just going to be still here just for a minute. Just bringing a close to the eyes and landing and relaxing down into the mat. And we take some time here just to feel the body, feeling the spine particularly, but all the way through the back chain of the body. And take some time to notice the echo of those poses that we've done. We've done 3 forward folds. So what does the echo of that feel like for you? We're just going to spend a few more moments here, rested, before we move in to our next posture, which is going to be Sphinx pose. So in a moment, we're going to roll over onto our tummy. Just one more moment to rest down into the mat. And then very gently, however is comfortable for you, we're going to roll onto the tummy. And our next pose is Sphinx. So our elbows are going to be underneath the shoulders. And we just are going to bend the spine in the opposite direction now. And we're here for 5 minutes, so it might be that you're happy to hold yourself up with your shoulders. 5 minutes is quite a long time to be in this position unsupported. So again, if you want to grab a cushion or a folded blanket and pop that underneath your chest, and maybe your arms come forwards a little bit so that the extension to the spine isn't so severe, and you bring your arms forwards. Maybe you just want to wrap your arms around your blanket or your cushion that's supporting you. Maybe you want another cushion just to support your head, or maybe you're happy with your head just being unsupported here. So again, taking some time just to find a comfortable place to be. And when you're here, we're going to bring it close to the eyes. And again, on those exhales, try to relax the body more. If relaxing the glutes, relaxing the bottom, brings a pain into the back, then you may want to just bring the chest down slightly so that the back bend is less. So just taking a focus for a moment to the lower body, the legs, the glutes, the hips. And just make sure that they're relaxed down. And adjust if you need to. Just gently stretching the front of the body and stretching the spine in a different direction here. I'm going to leave you for 2 minutes quietly. And again, your aim is to be still here, maybe taking a close to the eyes. Just making sure you're still breathing in and out gently through the nose. And we'll have 2 minutes of stillness and silence. We're in our last few moments now. So gently bring in an opening to the eyes. I'm going to move those props just to one side. We're going to stay on our tummy. Pop the head on the floor and bend one knee up. So it's at about a 90-degree angle, and take the gaze in the same direction, or the face in the same direction. I'm just going to relax down here for a moment. Just again noticing the echo of that posture. And let's just slowly and gently change side. So other knee comes up at 90 degrees. Face turns in the same direction as the bent knee. And head down onto the mat. And let's gently bring ourselves up, and we're going to turn ourselves round onto our backs again, bringing the knees in towards the chest and gently rocking from side to side here. So we're going to come into a twist next. So both knees are going to come down to one side. Now again, we're here for a few minutes. So you may want to pop a cushion or a folded blanket underneath those knees, just to give a bit of extra support. Maybe one cushion underneath and one cushion in between. So finding some comfort in our two-legged twist. And our aim is to get the opposite shoulder to lie flat on the floor. So my knees are over to the right, so my left shoulder is going to be on the floor here. And then when you found that comfort in that position, maybe bringing the arms out to the side. And maybe taking the gaze in the opposite direction to the direction of the knees. Maybe the hand that's nearest the legs goes on top of that outer knee. So just finding that place where you can be comfortable, maybe feeling tension but no pain. And landing yourself into this pose, into this posture. Just allowing that tension to release, gently breathing in and out through the nose. And every time you exhale, see if you can release more tension from the body. I'm going to leave you for 2 minutes quietly in this twist. The last few moments now. Let's gently bring some movement into the arms and maybe using the hands to bring the knees back up. Just going to land the feet onto the mat. And just rest down here just for a few moments. Maybe bringing a close back to the eyes. And again, just noticing the echo of that shape and how the body feels now, how the spine feels, how the hips feel. Just a few more moments to rest down, sinking into the mat. And then let's gently bring the knees back into the chest and maybe we rock from side to side. And then knees, ankles and feet together. We're going to allow both knees to fall down to the other side. And again, maybe popping cushion underneath, cushion in between. So setting up, just being mindful that most of us aren't symmetrical, so it might feel different on one side to the other. But we aim to get the opposite shoulder rested onto the mat. Maybe hands the same side as knees, comes on top of the knee to support, or maybe arms are out by the side. So finding that place where you can rest down. Once you found that edge, bringing close to the eyes and coming back to that stillness. Feeling that breath gently entering and leaving the body through the nose. And with each exhale, see if you can deepen and soften into the twist a bit more. And I'm going to leave you for 2 minutes in this still, quiet place. We're in our last few moments now. If the hand is on top of the legs, let's release. And very slowly and gently we bring the knees back up towards the ceiling, just resetting the spine. So soles of feet are grounded into the mat. Knees are bent. I'll just spend a few moments. Again, relaxing the spine into the mat and just noticing how that back feels now. One more moment here. And then we're going to stretch the legs out on the mat. And for our next posture, we're not going to need any prop. So we'll pop those out the way. And this time we're going to bring the arms overhead. And we come into our banana pose. So let's bring the right foot towards the right edge of the mat and the right hand towards the right edge of the mat. The left foot crosses over the right and the left hand comes into the right hand. So we make the shape of a banana. And you probably need some tension through the right side of your body here. So my right leg is tensed and my foot is flexed. So the toes are pointing to the ceiling, which gives my left foot something to hook over so that my left leg can relax more. My right hand is holding on to my left. So there's tension in my right fingers and maybe a little bit through the right arm just to keep that left arm in place. So we're looking just to create some rest and releasing that tension through the left side of the body. And we're going to use the right side of the body to help with the release of that tension. So we're feeling an opening through the left side. And the right side is helping with that opening. And if you're happy to bring a close to the eyes. I'm just going to leave you here for a few more moments in silence before we move on to the other side. One more moment here. And then let's release that left side of the body. And we move the left foot to the left side of the mat. And hook the right foot over the top. And move the left hand to the left side of the mat. And bring the right hand over. So we go straight into the opposite side. And now we should feel a little bit of tension through the left side of the body just to support the right side in releasing the tension. So maybe left toes are flexed and pointing up towards the ceiling so that the right foot has got something to hook over. And the left hand is holding the right hand and just gently applying some pressure. Just to gently move it towards the left side of the mat, creating that banana shape with the body. And if you're comfortable to bring close to the eyes. And we'll stay here for one more minute in stillness and quiet. We're in our last moment here. So let's release the right side of the body. When we come back to a central and symmetrical position on the mat, let's bring the arms down by the sides. Feet just wider than hip width. Legs are gently rolling out to the edges of the mat. Gazes to the ceiling, and then bring an close to the eyes. And we spend some time here noticing the echoes of all the shapes that we've created. Noticing what that release of tension feels like. Feeling energy flow more freely through the body. Tummy gently rising and falling with the breath as the body sinks deeper into the mat. So our last few moments of stillness and silence. And then just slowly bringing some movement back into the body. Maybe a wriggle of the toes and a wriggle of the fingers. Maybe arms come above the head into a full body stretch. Or maybe knees coming into the chest. And just the last few moments of movement. And then gently just rolling onto the right hand side. And we stay here for a moment. And then when you're ready, gently bring yourself up to seated. And let's sweep the arms out to the side, above our head, hands in prayer. Namaste. Thank you for joining.